Hi guys, and welcome to day 2 of Impy Stout week. And yesterday we had a modern classic with Omnipoyo's Noah, and today we're going a bit old school. And this is the first time I've actually ever had this beer, even though I've heard so much about it. And yeah, I picked this up in a little corner shop in Sutton Coldfield, of all things, when I was there with Rob from Hopscene and Harry from PABrewNews. So, of course, going up to Yorkshire, and this is Samuel Smith's Imperial Stout, fermented in Stone Yorkshire squares. So, let's see, Samuel Smith Old Brewery in Tadcaster, North Yorkshire. So this is clocking in at 7% ABV, so it's a little bit lower than most Imperial Stouts. So let's read the information on the back. So the distinctive type of beer was originally brewed in the... I'm reading words that aren't actually there. So this distinctive type of beer was originally brewed to withstand the abuses of shipping in foul weather to Imperial Russia. It was a favourite of Russian nobility, I should say, whose taste for the finest food and drink was world famous. A rich, flavourful brew, deep chocolate in colour with a roasted barley nose, and a flavour that is a complexity of malts, hops, alcohol and yeast. And yeah, fermented in Stone Yorkshire squares. So there's the label. Fantastic stuff. I love how traditional it looks. It sort of reminds me of the artwork you get on the Iyengar Celebrator, which is like a classic look as well. And it looks like I'm wearing a helmet today with my hair, because it's just losing shape and it's very frustrating. Anyway, so beautiful label, nice slim looking bottle. I wish I was looking slim. And a lovely gold sort of foil on the crown, and I think it's just a golden crown, so I'm not even gonna really worry too much about that. So really excited to try this, because I have heard a hell of a lot of good stuff about this one. And yeah, I think Northern Beer Temple are starting to stock some of the Samuel Smith stuff. So yeah, 355ml bottle. Let's see what we get with the beer. There we go. Of course, with the ABV, it's not pouring anywhere near as oily as yesterday's beer. So that's the last time I'm going to mention that, because that's like comparing chalk and cheese, even though they are technically the same. Over the umbrella style. There we go. So, beer in a glass, and that to me is a really nice dark, deep mahogany. Teetering on jet black, but I do get a lot of brown, deep hues there. Beer poured with about 2 fingers worth of a lovely dark beige looking head. Looks a bit more better contrasted on camera, but a beautiful looking beer nonetheless in this glass. So let's see if I can get a nose through that head. It's such an inviting aroma. Loads of sticky fermented fruity malt character. Loads of berries. Has that slight cola aroma, almost like cola cubes or cola bottles. But yeah, loads of dates, figs. Not really getting any sort of like chocolatey or coffee notes on the nose. It's just those big fruity, malty aromas. Quite sweet though in that regard, and I'm getting a little bit of a almost the malt build of a really potent Doppelbock, which I'm not gonna turn down. Look how horrible my hair is at this point. Yeah, I go down well in the 70s. It looks like I've got a fucking toupee on. Anyway, let's try and get that fixed. I really need to get my hair cut, which is the bottom line. Anyway, we're not here to talk about hair. We're here to talk about beer, and it looks good. It smells good. Let's have another sniff. There's even like a cinnamony bubblegum aroma coming through. yeah, it's really potent in that sort of like fruity vibe. Smells good. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. And that's really interesting. I've not had an Imperial Stout that's tasted like that in quite a while. Because I'm rarely getting used to Imperial Stouts having big, robust coffee notes, loads of dark chocolate, that sort of vibe. But this, it's very fruit forward, I would say, on the flavour. Oh, excuse me. It's almost jammy, like a plum jam or something along those lines. It's dense in that regard. I'd say upper end of medium mouthfeel, but you weren't really expecting, to get a massive body on a 7% Imperial Stout, especially like sort of like an old school take on an Imperial Stout. But yeah, that's still so nice. It's nice in its own way, and there's almost like a slight booziness on the back end, which isn't. It's a satisfying booziness. Do you know what I mean? It's not. What's the word that I'm looking for? It's pleasant and it's inoffensive. There we go, inoffensive. But yeah, it's a different take. Or is it what this style of beer should be, and what we come to know is a different take on that style? That's the thing. There's so much going on, and that's why I'm doing this, week of Imperial Stouts, because it's going to be really interesting to see how they change. And I know I said I wasn't going to compare the two beers again, but I'm going to have to compare beers throughout this week. This is like a completely different animal to the Noah that I had yesterday. It's just fundamentally British. Do you know what I mean? You could imagine in a pub on a lazy Sunday, and they've got a cask of this, and just having like a cheeky half pint. Do you know what I mean? Very subtle licorice and a hedgerow fruit vibe coming through as well. So there is a little bit of a charry bitterness, but it's not really coffee or dark chocolate. It's just going down a treat. It really, really is. And yeah, it's very figgy, very plummy. All those dark, deep fruits, quite jammy as well. And yeah, very fruit forward, I would say, compared to a lot of other Imperial Stouts that I've been having recently. Anyway, so in terms of a rating, I would definitely give this one. I give it an 8 out of 10. I'd happily drink that again. I know they do a chocolate stout, which I'd be really interested to try. Not too sure if they do an Imperial version of that, or if they do any barrel-aged entries into these beers. I'd be really interested to try them if they do, because it's such a beautifully brewed beer. It's classic, it's very traditional, uber trad. There's a t-shirt for you. And yeah, I like that a lot. I really, really do, because it's something different. Do you know what I mean? That I'm used to, and it's waking up my palate almost. And going back to the Doppelbock angle, and I'm getting loads of Doppelbock and English strong ale vibes, which I'm not hating, because they're two of my favourite styles. Anyway, so 8 out of 10. If you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. Are you a fan of the brewery? Are you a fan of this stout? What's your favourite stout that Samuel Smiths do? I'm so happy I finally got to try it. It's like £3, if that. Well worth every penny. And I will be buying it again multiple times. So yeah, it's going pretty damn well, isn't it? 2 days in. Wonder what... Don't know if you heard that, but the weird gargling sound came out of my throat as I was speaking. But yeah, day 3. Do I go traditional? Do I go left field? Or do I go... I don't know. This isn't being planned out, by the way, so I'll be just as surprised as you are. So if you didn't see yesterday's review of Noah, yes, the bottle is on the floor because I cleaned it because it's painted on. I don't want to keep the bottle. Then the link is down below. The playlist for my week of Imperial Stouts will be in the description as well. Excuse me. As well as the playlist to all of the Imperial Stouts that I've brewed on the channel. All of them. Not just a few of them, but all of them. And yeah, so far so good. And let's see what tomorrow brings. And maybe might actually have a proper hairstyle. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. See you guys later. Cheers.